Facebook as well. So Facebook. Oh, I see live. Yes, we are here. We're still waiting. Have we lost connection? No, we are here. Jandre and I was just chatting, but here we are live now. So for those of you on YouTube, Facebook, please comment, tell us where you are watching from. Like every other week, we talk about social media entrepreneurship, and lovely to have Jandre. Hello, Jandre.
Magriet Groenewald. How are you doing?
That would be me. Very good, thanks.
Always nice to see your bright and vibrant face.
Thank you. So, Jandre, you mentioned something that I thought was so good. You said you read a quote, your biggest problem becomes your biggest power.
Yeah, man, I think I'm not a big fan of quotes because it's becoming quite cliche, right? It's like whenever you hear a quote, it's like, whatever, another bumper sticker, another philosophical sentence that probably doesn't mean much. But I was listening to an audiobook, and it's actually a PDF that I downloaded that I converted into audio because I couldn't find the audiobook anyway.
Can I ask you what it was? Is it something?
I'll share the title with you. It's just because I'm going to get judged when I do actually share the title with everybody else on this channel. So it's a very it's a very unorthodox type of material. It's information I enjoy consuming because I try and challenge my perspective on many things. So something that I'm starting to enjoy is to listen to people I don't agree with. Because every single person I don't agree with has got a different perspective on a matter, and I enjoy broadening my perspective on life and business and everything else. So it's a very unorthodox type of book. So it's a very unique material that you won't really find many places. Hence, there's not an audiobook or a physical hard copy, but I managed to find a PDF of it. And I turned it into an audiobook. And I was in the gym, and one of the quotes that surfaced was that your biggest problems becomes your biggest power. And it was such a simple quote at first because it's like, yeah, cool. It kind of like just floats over your mind. When you hear something, it's like, yeah, cool. That sounds awesome. And then when I pondered on it for a little bit, I was like, damn, that's actually very, very true. It's so true that your biggest problem becomes your biggest power. Because if I look at our business, all the biggest problems that we've had in our business has become the biggest things that have played the biggest role in us catapulting forward and growing as a business and scaling as a business. So the biggest problems that we faced within the industry, we've turned into our biggest power. And for that reason, we're growing, and the brands that we're involved with are growing, and the companies that we invest in are growing. And I think when I thought about it outside of business, the biggest problems that you have as a person, as an individual, is sometimes your biggest power as well. Because if you are someone who might be quite sensitive or emotional in correlation to the world outside of yourself, then by working on that as a problem, you become more emotionally stable. And with that emotional stability, you become more open-minded and less reactive and more proactive in your life as well. So it's not only applicable to business, but it's also applicable on an individual level. And that makes me think that it's applicable on all levels. And your biggest problems can become your biggest assets. However, the question that you need to ask yourself is, hello, doggy. The question,
That's my dog.
The question you need to ask yourself is the problem that you're facing really going to be an asset for you down the line? Because there's certain problems you probably don't have to face. But most of the time, the biggest problems can become your biggest asset in your business. And you were speaking about it earlier, learning Facebook ads. You spoke about it like, it gets more complicated every single year. And you're like, am I, learning what I need to learn? And at the same time, by you putting yourself in the deep end and focusing on consuming material and reading the updates of the algorithm and doing all of these things, you're going to be part of the selected few who can actually leverage, the power of Facebook ads in order to grow your business. So that might be a problem in the short term, but it becomes your biggest asset in the long term.
Yeah, it's so
I think
valuable.
that's basically what the quote was all about.
So it's also about that thing, like if you have to think, what is it in my business that's really a problem? Because we tend to run away, like you said earlier, we tend to run away from those problems, so it stays a problem. Whereas if we can just say, okay, what is that problem, and just face it head on, then it can become your biggest leverage or your biggest asset.
Right.
So we had a I want to see from you guys, what questions do you have? So last week we got so many questions, we couldn't cover all of them. So obviously anything related to your business, there's something that this made me think about, because a big problem that a lot of business owners have is the fact that they are so consumed inside of their business doing the everyday operational stuff that they don't get time to just sit back, work on their business, and build systems. And I think one thing that I really learned from you since last year, in all our chats, is the importance of putting in systems in business so that you can eventually remove yourself, or that thing of, are you self-employed or are you really a business owner, and thinking about what is it that we can automate in the business. And I think that's, for me, that was a big light bulb moment. I think it was somewhere in last year when you spoke about the importance of systems. Now, I am one of those people that I love to be busy in my business. And it really struck me, like, what systems do I need to go and work in? But that means I have to remove myself from the day-to-day activities, spend time on seeing what systems can I put into my business so that my business can run on its own.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think we underestimate how difficult it is to scale a business. And I think this is why most businesses get stuck, or business owners get stuck, is because they do not take into account how much work you have to put in from we call it an SOP standpoint, a system of procedure standpoint, a framework standpoint that will allow you to bring on more people who can follow the system the way you would have obviously followed it as a business owner, to ensure that you get a very similar result. So I think any service business, any business actually, but I think specifically service-based businesses, the question is, how can you bring more people on board and ensure that they can deliver on the service as well as you could or can as the business owner? So you, for example, now are offering a service. You're a coach and you offer people coaching. And if you wanted to scale your business and you wanted to duplicate yourself, the question is, what other coaches can you bring on board that can deliver the service as close as possible, as good as the quality could possibly be, at the end of the day, for the clients and the students that you bring on board? And that is what a system does. It allows the person that comes through as someone who joins you in the business, it allows that person to start delivering on the result as close as possible to how you could have done it. And your system and your procedures obviously should just have all the information needed to ensure that that person can do the job accordingly. So, I mean, it could be my mom and dad has got a bookshop, for example, in Stillbay, and that could be, it's a local business, right? So for them, it's the question of, if someone had to resign and go to another opportunity, how can they bring someone on board who can immediately start running and operating that bookshop the way that previous person could have or would have? And the problem where most business owners find themselves in, they have to retrain everybody. So they have to hire someone, spend all this energy, time, and effort on training someone, which now creates a lot of stress and anxiety for you, because you have to do your daily tasks and meet all your daily responsibilities. And then at the same time, you have to do someone else's job with the idea so that they can shadow and better understand how to do that job so they can eventually do it themselves. So you as a business owner find yourself working much harder than you should, which creates a lot more stress and anxiety than it should. Not to mention the stress and anxiety that you put on the other person who's now supposed to remember all of this information with the notepad ready and the iPad ready to take notes. So the quickest way to remove that stress and anxiety and allow someone else to join your business and deliver value to your business is to have a system and procedure in place that explains to them exactly what they need to do and how they need to do it. So after opening the door, you go to the cash register, you open it, you unlock it, you do this, you do that. And if needed, have screenshots or images on how the key looks, what key they need to use. Step 1 is open the blind. Step 2 is turn on the aircon. Step 3 is do this, do that, do that, do that. And that potentially means, this is now a very layman's example, but that means that if someone had to leave one day, the next person can come on board. And as opposed to taking them 2 months or 3 months to truly grasp the rhythm of doing this task, it will now take them 30 days because there's a proper system in place that they can go back on or fall back on every time they forget, as opposed to asking you as the business owner, what do I need to do now? Or you pitching up going, why is the aircon not on? Why is the cash register not, open? So at the end of the day, a system of procedure is designed to help you more effectively bring staff and colleagues on board that can help you deliver the same level of quality in terms of product or service to the customer and the client as quickly as possible so that you can continue to grow, so that you as a business owner don't have to spend double the time, double the energy on trying to train people over and over and over every time someone joins the company.
So that you can ultimately have freedom of time. And I truly believe that having freedom of time and obviously good health is one of the biggest levels of wealth, because we know so many people that's got a lot of money, but they working so hard they can't enjoy it, or they maybe don't have good health. And I think for business owners, because as you are talking, and it's like you say, it's maybe a very simple example that you're saying, but it's such an important point, and it's something I need to work on in my business, is getting those systems in place. And I started last year when we started talking about building better systems. But as you were talking, I was just realizing how many more systems I can put in place. That yes, it's going to take time today. But what I was also thinking, and I think for you, because you invest in businesses, is the value it adds to your business. Now, if you go, most probably, and go and look at a business, you see, okay, if I had to invest in this business or buy this business, can this business actually go on without the owner, or can't it? So we always want to know, how can we make more money? How can we grow our business? But that is it. Like, thinking of your business as someone who wants to invest, like as you as an investor, and what is it that you are going to look for? Is it the owner that have to do everything, or do they have systems in place that, yes, we can remove the owner, we can put someone in, and we can scale this business? So it's such a valuable, I think it's just such a valuable point. And I don't know if people, guys, let me know if you guys get this, because for me, it's like the biggest light bulb moment in what the next step is in our business. It's just
also,
working
if
on
anybody's
that.
got any questions around it, I might not have articulated myself well enough. I always wonder, I always overthink whether I am doing a good job at articulating myself. But I think a layman's way, or a very simple way to look at it, is going, if you had to buy a McDonald's franchise, what you get, hypothetically, I assume they'd have a manual. I don't know how big it is, but I can only imagine that it's a big bloody manual that is written from A to Z exactly on how to run that McDonald's. It literally tells you exactly how long to fry a patty for, when to flip the patty, how many times to flip the patty, what degree the stove should be on. If you're making this burger, this is what you should do. If you're making that burger, that's what you should do. If the machine breaks, this is what you do. This is what you check. This is the button you press. This is who you call if it's broken. Now, if you buy a McDonald's franchise, that's what you get. You get a roadmap to building and growing your own McDonald's business. And that is essentially how we should look at, we call it SOPs within your own business, is we need to build out a training manual for someone else to come on board and do that task as quickly as effectively as possible. And I think we underestimate how many mundane tasks you as a business owner do that someone else would be more than happy to do for a small fee out there, especially people sitting at home. What we've seen is we use a lot of virtual assistants to to help us with virtual tasks. So tasks like, looking at the billing, who paid, who didn't pay, follow up on who still needs to pay. Now, yes, we have an accounts department to do all of those things, but we also have other people act as safety nets, or other people act as people who would just follow up to make sure that things get done, or whatever it may be, on small little mundane tasks like that. Even when I did my own content, I had someone had created a system where someone can log into StreamYard, download the video, cut it up, put subtitles on it. And in the beginning, I did it myself for like a week, so that I could find a system that works quite effectively for myself. Then I documented that system, and then I passed it out onto someone else. And I think as business owners, that's what essentially we should be doing for our own companies. You should do an audit on what you're spending your time on every single day. Make notes of what you're doing. Then after a week or two, reflect on how many of the things that you've been doing are small little tasks that's quite mundane, that you can actually hand over to someone, a mom who's happy to take on extra work at home, that's got a laptop, who has got hours between 8 and 12 available to do some extra work, to earn some extra money. There are so many people out there who you can actually empower and help, and who can actually in exchange help you and run your business a lot smoother and more effectively as well. So
I think
outsource those tasks to those people who are willing to do it. And you can then, create the freedom for yourself to do a little bit more of innovation that's needed, a little bit of marketing planning or strategy, whatever it is, the more important stuff that actually is going to move the needle, as opposed to the tasks that's only keeping you where you are. Because that's what we sometimes are not aware of, is that we spend 90% of our time on tasks that only keep us where we are, and we only spend 10% of the tasks that can actually help us grow. The question is, you as a business owner should spend at least 50% of your time on things that's going to help you grow, and 50% of your time on things that's going to keep you where you are. That is, for most small business owners. When you're on a CEO level, you can spend, when you've got more people in your company, you can spend 90% of your time on things that's actually going to move the business forward, and 10% of your time on things that is actually just keeping you where you are.
I think a big challenge, and I don't know if it's, well, for me, that I, it keeps like challenging me, is, and I don't know if it's with women. We are very hard workers. Like, this is the thing about women. We love to work hard and reliable. I'm not saying men aren't, but I'm a woman, so I know that. So a big challenge for me was, and still is, that thing of, I'll just do it because I can do it better. I know I can do it better, but actually stepping back and saying, look, I am going to train this person to do it as good as I'm doing it. But it's almost like you've got that pride in, I'll just do it. Number one, it's fast, and I can do it better. So I think for me, that's the first thing about getting systems in your business is the mind shift. What do you want? You want a more valuable business, and you want more freedom of time. And if you can have those two things at the top of mind, like, okay, I know it's going to be effort to do this. I know it's going to be effort to work on my business, but this is my ultimate goal. I want my business to be more valued more, and I want freedom of time. I want to be able to spend the whole afternoon with my kids, or go surfing when I want to on a Tuesday morning, or, and if I, that's how I try to do it, because otherwise I just want to do everything myself,
Yeah, look, I think we have different perspectives on what freedom means. So for me, like, I obviously want to spend time with my kids and all those things. But I think my vision for the V8 group is obviously much bigger, which, not that I'm trying to compare it to what you're building on your end, but I think it's a matter of understanding, like, my freedom is, can I just do the shit that I want to do that's going to help me grow my business? And obviously having a balance is important, spending time with your kids and doing all of those things. But what I want to do is I don't want to get stuck in doing things that's keeping the business where we are, because me as a business owner, I need to understand that I'm responsible for 25, 26 people. So, and they have families. So it's my responsibility as someone who has taken it. We've said to ourselves, now we're a management team, and the responsibility is now very much shared. But as a business owner, you can't help but take that responsibility upon yourselves. And what the anxiety and the stress that I have is, am I doing enough to grow so that I can provide opportunity for everybody in my business? And that's really what V8 is all about, is that we're a group that just focuses on growth. And for us, that's what's important. Spiritual growth, mental growth, physical growth, financial growth. Our clients need to grow. We need to grow. You don't come here to do anything but grow. Like, there's not a person who's come into this company who hasn't grown on some level. And I think that is an amazing value to have. But at the same time, if I'm stuck doing a thing that's only keeping me where I am, the problem is...
Sorry, I just had to put that comment on.
It's one of my good friends, Catherine. Thanks, Kath.
It is so funny.
So it's making sure at the end of the day that you are actually doing the shit that you want to and need to do to grow the business, so that you can provide opportunity for everybody that's committed themselves to the business too. Because remember, when you employ someone and someone decides to work with you, I don't like to use the word employment, but when you make an agreement with someone that they're going to come to join you in your company, they're going to provide value to your company, and you're going to financially reward them in exchange and reward them on other levels potentially as well. You guys have made an agreement. In order to make sure that that agreement remains healthy, you need to continue doing your job, which is to continue to grow the business. And they need to continue doing their job, which is to continue ensuring the business has the potential to grow once, the demand and everything else is there on that level. So it's ensuring everybody is working with a common goal. But at the same time, everybody needs to free themselves from doing shit that they don't need to do all the time, and doing the shit that's actually making an impact on the business. And that goes for whether you're a business owner, or whether you're a marketing manager, or whether you're an account manager, or whether you're someone who just started in the company. Are you spending 90% of your time on stuff that's actually making an impact? And can you start to build systems and procedures around the tasks that are actually not needed for you to do that much, and you can outsource that to someone else who's more than willing to do that? So it's more just to being self-aware of what you're actually spending your time on, and if the things that you're spending your time on is actually pushing you forward as an individual and as a business. And I think we're not self-aware enough sometimes to realize what we spend our time on.
So valuable, really. Let's see what do we have here. I do everything: manufacture, advertise, sales, invoice payments, picking, packing orders, and courier. Stuck with how do we start small without a big cost of 10K for learning social media ads. So Alicia, first of all, congratulations on doing all of this and venturing into the world of entrepreneurship. It's an exciting journey. So definitely how to start small without a big cost of learning social media ads. So it's literally, but you can go to YouTube. There's free content is all over the internet, but you can learn anything. If you don't implement, you're never going to learn. So it's really just to start posting organically, because at the end of the day, ads is just amplifying or magnifying what is there already. So you need to develop the skill to create content on social media that people actually want to engage with, that they like, so that you can learn better ads. So I would say just start where you are. Go to YouTube, see how do I post on Instagram, how do I post on and be consistent with that. And for me, it's you just have to start. You just have to start, even if you don't feel ready.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, you can, if you don't want to spend time and you don't want to spend money on courses and mentors. Mentors has helped me. If I wouldn't be where I am without mentors in my life, free ones and paid versions. Like I've had free mentors who I try and exchange value to much as I can. But at the same time, I've got paid mentors too. I've got free mentors, I've got paid mentors, and I look at every single opportunity. Someone who's one step ahead of me, I want to learn from that person. Someone who's 10 steps ahead of me, I want to learn from that person too. So I think it's so crucial to try and put yourself in a position to learn from other people, because that's just the quickest way to get the information you need to grow. A lot of us are romantic about, I can do it myself, I can figure it out myself. But what you don't understand is the time that it's taking you is actually costing you and suffocating your business down the line as well. Now, there's nothing wrong with learning a specific skill. And if that skill can actually help you compound your business down the line, and if you're the person who wants to acquire that skill because it's a passion for you, then you need to make the time to learn that skill. Otherwise, that skill is not going to happen and it's not going to be able to add value to the business. So you need to be self-aware enough, again, on how you're spending your time. She said, I don't have the time. So do an audit on what you're spending your time on, and all the stuff that you're not supposed to be doing that's mundane. You should be creating systems and procedures around and giving that to someone else to do. Someone who can phone the insurance company if something at the house happened. Our pool motor just broke, so I need to find. I've got someone that I can say, listen, please contact, because at the end of the day, my time spent on trying to find people to fix the pool is not an ROI positive for me moving the business forward and taking responsibility for the 25 people I decided to take responsibility for. It is actually I'm doing the 25 people in my business a disservice by taking the time to figure out who's going to fix my pool motor.
Absolutely.
So, it's just how I look at life. Is like, whatever I'm doing, whatever task I'm doing, is it ROI positive in some way? And this is what people don't understand. And if it's a skill that you're learning, the ROI will compound over time. You might not see the ROI overnight. The web design skills I learned in 2012. The Facebook ads skills I've learned in 2013, the email skills I learned in 2014, the copywriting skills I learned in 2015, the Google ads I've learned in 2017. All of these things compounded into me starting V8 Media, the agency, in 2018. So those skills, even though at the time it was helping me cover my bills, they stacked together in order to catapult my vision, which at the time was to start an agency. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have those skills. So you need to ask yourself, what skills are actually going to benefit you down the line and your business down the line? And you need to start making the time to acquire those skills. Or you're going to have to hire someone to teach you those skills quicker so you don't waste the time. Or you're going to hire someone to implement those skills in your business if you don't have a passion for those skills and if you don't believe those skills will help you down the line as a business owner. So those are the few ways that you can really look at it at the end of the day.
So, when I started out, so obviously I was employed and I was working for a boss, and because I wanted to learn, I had this desire to learn from big entrepreneurs what they do. But the problem I encountered was that I didn't have flexibility. I couldn't be a mom for my kids. Literally worked 8 till 5, and my boss didn't understand anything about kids. So, I came to a point where I actually sold my car to pay for courses. And I was just telling my sister yesterday, you know what? The greatest peace of mind that I have is that if I had to lose everything tomorrow, I will be okay because I acquired the skill of how to create a business, how to make money. So for me, that is such a big calmness that I have, because so we don't always think, okay, it costs like 5K, 10K or whatever to learn something, but we don't think of the compounding effects of that skill that you learn and the money it can bring in the end. Anyway, so I just want to say, I'm not saying go and sell your car or anything, but that's what I did. And I just want to say where I got that inspiration from. So back 2015, whatever, I read a book from Robert Kiyosaki, and he said, if you have such a big desire that you're willing to stay in your car, because him and his wife stayed in their car, and if you have such a big desire to figure out how to do this or to figure out this business thing and make money, you won't mind staying in your car. And that is one, like, that's and I sold my car. And for a whole year, I didn't have a car. It was very hectic. But yeah, I've got a car now again.
That's awesome, man. But that's so true. The thing is, are you willing to take that commitment, right? I think not all of us are happy to sacrifice certain things. And it's not that some of us are fortunate enough to not sacrifice much except just a bit of time. But even that we can't do because we keep ourselves busy with things that are not really important. We think they are because it makes us feel good inside. Oh, I managed to take the trash out. Oh, I managed to send an email to this person and that person. Oh, I managed to make 5 calls. Well, how much of that really moves the business forward? And if it's not moving the business forward, you can give it to someone else to do. And so you can actually spend your time on stuff that's going to catapult you in the next 12 months. So this is literally how I look at my years. Like, what skills do I need to learn this year to push the business forward? And then I need to dedicate the time to learn those skills. And this is why I always try and put myself in an environment where I can broaden my perspective, because the only time, and Marzan said it now best. Marzan said, I just want to bring up this comment. She said, such a big picture. It is getting so clear now. I know where I have been the bump in my own road. So the thing is, some of the times we don't know what's actually preventing us from moving forward. That is why you have to broaden your perspective and speak to as many people as possible and not take everybody's advice as golden, but with it as a pinch of salt, and consume as much as you can so that you can contextualize that information, broaden your own perspective, and then execute on what's actually going to work for your business. That's really what it all boils down to at the end of the day. So I feel on the topic of systems and procedures, and then we can move on to some questions, it's as simple as this. You need to start doing an audit on yourself. I've actually got something called the growth grid. Let me actually try and find it here somewhere.
The growth grid.
I came up with something a while ago called the growth grid. And let me tell you what the growth grid is. The growth grid is basically a sheet that I designed that allowed me to do an audit on my own day. And this is something that might be worth sharing actually with some people. So let's just quickly check here.
So comment below if you want it, then we can afterwards, we can DM it or send it in Messenger. So just let us know if you want Jandre's growth grid. I'm the first to comment.
It's not sexy, guys. I'm just letting you know. But I do believe, I'm trying to find it here somewhere.
So we've got yes, please. Now,
I know it's here somewhere.
See what's better and quicker.
I'll find it now for us. While we take some questions, I'll find it. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, is that it allows you to audit your day, every single task that you do. You assign a score to those tasks on the impact level it has in your own growth as a business, as an individual. And then after a week or two, you can start to see how your score technically adds up, and whether it's in the surplus, which would mean that you're growing, and if it's in the minuses, which means you're actually just stagnating. And yeah, that's something I would love to share. But let's take some questions.
That's so valuable. So I think I just want to, like, I feel this has been so valuable. So what actually came out from the first part of this conversation is the importance of growth. And I think because I'm learning so much, and I'm like, oh, light bulb, like I'm not growth focused enough. Like I feel like after this live, I'm going to go into that thing. What is the one purpose we need to grow? We need to grow as individuals, as people. We need to grow the business, and we need to grow. It's also our responsibility that our employees grow, or the people that work for us. And how can we make them grow? We can only help them grow if we grow and take the lead.
100%.
So Alicia is well doing videos rather than manuals by the owner, not be friendlier. You know, nice is always nice, but you can have it on a piece of paper to start with. The thing is just to have it in place. And a lot of the times we want to make things nice. It's also with social media. We want to have the perfect post. It's nice. And then because it takes so much more time and effort to do that, we don't do it. So if it's easy for you to create videos, maybe you can do it on your phone and put it in a Google Doc. Great. I mean, that could be great. And what you could do is you could make a video, maybe talk it through, put that video through ChatGPT and say, please give me a summary of this video. Then you've got the video and a summary. So definitely, as long as it doesn't keep you from doing what you should be doing, you know?
100%. I'm happy to take some. I'm trying to find the file now somewhere. It's somewhere on my computer.
The social media environment changes so quickly. It seems like we are so vulnerable and reliant on these international giants. Seems local support is essential. So I think from my end, what I want to say about this is yes and no. So obviously the social media giants need to make money. How do they make money? From our attention. So every second you spend time on social media, they are making money because they trade attention basically. But you can use that in your advantage, because where 20 years ago could I go like on a platform in front of people, talk to people and give them more information, teach them stuff, help them, inspire them to get known out there, you know? 20 years ago, you had to pay a lot of money. So what happened is the big corporations, the Coca-Colas of the world, were just growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And the small business owners did not have anything. Like you couldn't pay all that money to be in a magazine. So the thing is, I like to look at social media, not at the negative side, but at the positive side. Use it. It's a free platform that you can go onto and make an impact in the world, change lives, and freaking make money, because how are you going to make money? By building your brand, by telling people, educating people maybe about your product, by getting known, getting out there. How else was that possible in the past? So don't feel the fact, yes, we are vulnerable to it, but there's a way to overcome that. So you want to get people on social media, but you need to take them into your system. So you need to have something like an email list, or people on WhatsApp, like, okay, guys, send me a WhatsApp here. So you have direct contact. So social media is almost like this, it's like this plane, or like this little village where a lot of people congregate, and you go there and you get people from there and you take them in your system. And that is, once again, where systems are important. So how are you going to use this free platform to get people in your system? So that's just my answer in short.
Look, I think, do you know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly? Look, you can adapt that perspective, and to some extent it might be true, but it's a quantification. It's not an absolute truth. We have over 80 clients, all of them on social media, running ads, growing their businesses. Not all of them are obviously growing at the rate that one would always prefer, but the reality is that social media marketing, whether it's ads or organic, is still powerful, and it is the number one way to put yourself out there and get more clients or customers, depending on the business that you have, period. The way that you cut through the noise and are not too vulnerable to these changes and potentially international brands with bigger budgets is that you innovate your offer, you innovate your message, you innovate your creativity as a business, meaning the creatives that you put out, the content that you create. If all of those things can stand out and it's stuff that people resonate with, then the algorithm will favor you over the giants, no matter how much they want to spend, because it's not so much about, as much as Facebook ads specifically is auction focused, it's also about delivering the best experience to the person on the other side. So if your message will resonate better with them, then you will most likely pay a much lower cost to reach that same person as Apple or someone else would, whose message is not resonating. So the question is, do you understand your customers well enough to actually create amazing content they can resonate with? Because then organically and through a paid way, you will benefit massively, period.
Love that. Okay, so let's see, where's our next question. Okay, so everyone wants the growth grid, Jandre.
I'll find it. I made empty promises here to everybody from the sounds of it. I was like, I do have it. I've used it so many times. I haven't used it this year yet. So now I've kind of like forgot where I put it, but I will find it. I promise.
So,
and we'll pass it on.
Magriet is saying, I never valued my own opinion. Only other people's ideas and thoughts were gold. I first have to start believing in myself again. So, Magriet, the only way, it's almost like that thing. We think we need to have confidence to do something, but actually we build confidence by doing. So it is challenging. But the only way is not really, it is believing in yourself, but it's actually walking, doing the stuff, because then you are going to get the proof. It's almost like whenever I maybe feel down, or I feel, am I good enough? What do? I go and see what's the proof. I would read, what does my customer say? And then I would say, okay, so maybe at this moment, I don't believe in myself, but I believe the facts. So the facts say this. The facts say, you're great, you're doing great, whatever. So I don't have to rely on my own self-belief to actually believe in myself. So it's about doing the stuff, implementing, getting the feedback, and then going from there, building. So it's very difficult to be, if I had to say I have to start a business now and I have to believe in myself, it's going to be very difficult, because do I have results that can prove that I am actually good at what I'm doing? So it's about first doing, getting the results, and using that as your building blocks in building that confidence. Jandre is still searching. Please send me
sorry,
as well.
My internet just went for a second. Is this better? Can you hear me?
Yes. I have done Facebook ads to get WhatsApp messages from the ads, but they don't result in any final sales. This is interesting. Shall I leave that to you, Jandre?
This
sure. Can be a very long answer. And
This can
short.
be a very long answer. The question is just like, what are you doing to ensure that people buy? That's literally just the long of the short of it. It's like, how are you positioning your conversation so that people actually want to buy? This is where you need to understand that people will buy if they feel that the product is valuable in correlation to the money that they're paying. So if if there's value for money in the deal, then they will obviously happily transact with you. So the question is, Alicia, are you doing enough to get the money out of those people who said that they were interested? Because many business owners are very passive. They assume that every message that comes through is someone who's very interested, and they would send a quote or send them a price and then just leave it. Meanwhile, the person on the other side is just busy gathering information, or just maybe had a quick prompt and thought it will be good to know. So what you need to do is assume that the people coming through, whether it's email messages or phone calls, are all unaware of how effective the solution is. And you need to always try your best to convince them. If there's obviously a good product, you don't want to manipulate, but you want to persuade best you can to get them to understand the value of the product. So the question is, I have to you is, Alicia, how often do you follow up with these people? How do you position the product or the service to ensure that they understand the value? And yeah, I think those are the two questions that you need to answer yourself. And I think reflecting on those two questions, you will probably find that there are things that you can do a lot better in order to get the money out of them. Because remember, attention doesn't equal sales. This is what we talk about all the time, right? This is what's happening. You're putting an ad out there, you're grabbing attention, but that doesn't mean you're going to get sales. Attention doesn't equal sales. However, attention allows you the opportunity to convert that attention into sales. So the conversion process is the most complicated, I would say, most of the time, but the most important as well. So the biggest problem, which is now a conversion process, will become your biggest asset once you figured out how to convert those people in
Absolutely.
a more effective way, in a manner, obviously.
So I think what's very important is, are you converting people without Facebook ads? So you have to ask yourself, I have this message or this offering. I go to someone that already know me. I give them that. Am I converting them? Because if you're not converting people that already know you, then Facebook's ads is not going to help you with the conversion, because it only takes what you have. So you've got something that works and it enlarges it. But if you don't have that basis of, I've got a system of converting people, or people really love this offer that I put out, now I can go put Facebook ads, because Facebook's ads is going to, instead of giving me 3 conversions, it's going to give me 30 conversions. But you need to have that offer, and it needs to work in person. Like if you go to another person and you explain to them, this is my offer, will you buy it? And if they do, then it's a good sign that you can move over to Facebook ads. Okay, great insights in the using. I have a heal. Well, I have to heal first from a toxic work environment, and this will be all easier to do again. I lost my self-confidence to toxic mentor employer. I'm so sorry about that, Marzon. And the thing is, like the thing started, that was your biggest problem. It can become your biggest asset. So keep on working,
Amen.
keep that desire alive of overcoming that and getting on the other side, because then you are going to be extremely powerful. So thanks for sharing that. And I'm so sorry that had to happen to you. Let's see. I firmly in mentors as well as accountability, which I seriously need now again. Bernice, we are here for you, your accountability partner. Oh, Bernice.
Yeah, accountability is a big thing. I think it's just taking accountability, showing up when you need to show up, doing what you need to do, and having the patience as well. I think sometimes our own expectation of how quickly we think it will pay off demotivates us to continue, and it feels like we're not making progress. But that is where patience comes in and faith comes in. I think patience and faith is both very, very important, purely because of the fact that it will feel like you're not making progress. And for years, it didn't feel like I was making the progress I wanted to be honest with you. But through faith and patience and just being happy to enjoy the process and building the skills and enjoying learning the skills, I think it started to pay off down the line. So I think patience and faith will keep you on track, and which will ultimately lead to discipline, which will ultimately lead to you achieving the goal that you want to achieve.
So we've got a question here on Instagram from Darren Angel. It says, how do I increase ticket sales? Last year, only one show sold out. We built funnels, but click-through rates or cost per clicks or whatever was low. So, Darren, I'm not sure what you do, but I've helped some people in the entertainment industry really grow big, and the formula is very, very simple actually. So it's about creating a community of people, and how we did it with this specific person is creating good content that people love to consume. So that's all for free, and then using that audience. So this is when we do ticket sales, is we use that audience to run ads, to run ads to sell tickets. But I think for that specific artist, the biggest shift he had to make in his head is you have to consistently create content that your audience love, and that is a lot of hard work. But like I explained to him, the harder you work organically, the harder Facebook or the more back you'll get for your money. The harder Facebook will work for you. So the less you do organically, the more it's going to cost you to sell. And it is, unfortunately, if you are in the artist space, it is hard work, but it's something that you can do. Is I'll go and have a look at your profile and just send you a DM as well. But it works very well, creating content on the front end and then creating that community, and those people will go and buy your tickets.
Yeah, look, I think Alicia also mentioned now earlier about her conversion process. She says she follows up the same day, but that's one follow up, and keep in mind, like, one follow up might not cut it. If you follow up once politely, people get distracted. Someone has to message me sometimes 2-3 times to get my attention, because there's so many things happening on my phone at the same time. I'm getting a notification here of an email that I need to attend to, and then I get a WhatsApp message, and then it's my wife asking me something that I need to reply to there, and then it's someone phoning me about a question quickly that I need to consult on in order to make sure that we make the best decision. And before I know it, 2-3 hours have passed and I haven't seen that message. And we need to take into account that everybody's lives are very similar, no matter what position you're in. We're just busy with stuff. So your follow-up is not just about having a same-day follow-up. That's not a follow-up. That's just responding to the inquiry. A follow-up is doing the check-in 3 or 4 or 5 times over a period of a week, and not letting go until you've gotten a straight answer. So they either need to say, yes, I'm interested, or no, I'm not interested. So you follow up until you get either one of those responses. So for the people who inquire with us, we're not as aggressive as we used to be. But in the beginning, I would use, when I was literally trying to find my first bunch of clients, I followed up with every single person till I got a hard no or a yes. It's either one of those two. I won't follow. If you didn't give me an answer, I'm going to continue asking, because it means that you're still thinking about it. And as long as you're still thinking about it, I want to be the person that you spend the money on. So if the moment you decide yes, then I want to be there to take the money and offer you the best valuable service. That's literally how I thought about it in the beginning. So I follow up until I've got an answer. And if you think that's annoying, then I'm sorry, but it worked for me, and it works for every single other business out there that has grown and 10x their own revenue and profit at the end of the day. So it's with passive marketing and passive follow-ups is going to give you passive results. You need to be a little bit more aggressive, but you don't have to harass people. You can do it in a very polite way. You can do it in a fun way. Sometimes I'll send like a meme that's a guy that's waiting, or like a meme that says, me waiting, and it's a guy looking at a screen that's raining, or looking outside a window that's just raining and it looks all sad. Or, I'll send like funny memes to get people's attention when I was still doing the sales myself. And often people go, haha, sorry, man, I got so busy. I'm actually still considering it. Can we have a call? I've just got 1 or 2 questions. I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's jump on a call now. Is that fine? Or should we do tomorrow? So it's following up until you've gotten a hard no. If you haven't gotten a hard no, then there's still an opportunity to make a sale. It's just how creative you are in the follow-up process and getting the answer out of them.
I think we can actually do a whole hour on sales, because that is such an important part of business. And I know especially a lot of women shy away from sales. So a good book you can read on that, a book I read is from that Wolf of Wall Street. So he's got this straight
Straight
line
line
method.
persuasion system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it just really helped me to see it's okay, and what you were saying about the follow up. So maybe go and get that book. It's really a good book on sales, on doing better sales. But it's perhaps something we can talk about in one of the upcoming episodes, because I know sales is one of your passions. Because if you can't sell, you
Love it.
can't make money.
Marketing and sales is my passion, and I think that's the only two reasons why the businesses that we've started since 2018 have been a success, is because we know how to create demand and how to sell on the back of that demand. But at the end of the day, you also have to make sure that you have a valuable product, because marketing and selling people into that product will only expose you for who you really are. So at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you can actually deliver a good service and a good product at the end of the day as well. But it goes without saying that those are the two most valuable skills anybody can learn. And I always advise that business owners, or even people who are unsure of what they want to learn, do one day. So if you're unsure of what you want to study, if you want to take a gap year, take a gap year, but sign up for as many marketing and short courses around sales as you can with the free time that you have. Because those are skills that will benefit you tremendously, because you have to sell yourself to other people. You have to learn how to market yourself to an employer. If you want to go for a job interview, you need to learn how to maybe create a personal brand for yourself, that companies actually approach you that they want to hire as opposed to someone else. So there's so much ROI in learning marketing and sales, no matter what you want to do one day.
Absolutely. And I think it's also that big mind shift. Like we think, because I work with artists and creative people and many different people. And, a lot of them say, I thought, I just want to paint. I just want to be an artist. But how are you going to paint if you don't sell any of your paintings, if no one knows about you? So the better you can market yourself and the better you have these skills, the more you can do what you actually want to do. And I think a lot of people shy away from building a personal brand, which is one of the biggest assets you can build, because they feel like they're not like that. But we have to change our perspective. It's not really about what we like or not like. It is about what it can give us and what it brings other people. So by going out, for instance, on social media, even if you don't like it, you actually connect with someone out there that you don't even know about, that really starts listening to you, consuming your content, you're changing their lives. And when they need your service, they are going to want to buy from you. So Alicia is saying, thanks for the book tip. This is the book. Yeah, it's a
Cool.
good book. Yeah, very, very good for just changing your mindset around sales, because sales is very important.
It boils down to understanding psychology and just consumer behavior. If you understand how a consumer's mind works, then you will be able to increase your odds of selling stuff to them. So sales is one thing, but it's understanding the psychology that is actually making you a good salesperson. So if someone says, I want to think about it. If someone says, I don't have the money right now, it's understanding that it's one of two things. They either truly don't have the money and they're absolutely broke, but why would they inquire about that specific product if they didn't have the money in the first place? So it means that they are looking for that product. They would probably want to find the money somehow if the product was really as exciting as they thought it would be. And it's really understanding the psychology behind the inquiry, and then using that person and their environment and their way of thinking, not against them, because that would be manipulation to some extent, but it's using it in your favor so you can better articulate the value of the product so they can understand what they're actually buying and whether it's worth buying or not. And that way you will get a hard no or yes, I'll take it. And that's the thing, like, that's what you want. You want to get to the conclusion of, I don't want it, thank you, or yes, this is something I want. And most of us give up halfway.
Absolutely. We've got so Yolandi the vet is saying, thank you. This is on Instagram. Thank you so much for this. Imposter syndrome creeps up on you sometimes. So Yolandi, what I have learned about imposter syndrome is, number one, not to fight it. It is not necessarily a negative thing. And for me, this was a big game changer. So, whenever you have imposter syndrome, why do we get imposter syndrome? Because we go out of our comfort zone. So here's our comfort zone. Just out of our comfort zone, that's where imposter syndrome lives. But out of our comfort zone is where we grow. So the moment you have imposter syndrome, don't don't feel bad about it. Say to yourself, well done, girlfriend. I'm growing, I'm doing something right. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had imposter syndrome. So for me, what helped a lot is understanding that I have to congratulate myself every time I get imposter syndrome, because it means I am stepping out of my comfort zone, which 99% of people are not willing to do because people are scared of things outside of their comfort zone. Then once you see it as a positive thing and you embrace it and you say, oh, you're my friend, okay, it's good, but thank you. Now I know I'm on the right course. And then it's as if it just goes away, because now you go, okay, great. I am busy learning, and it's okay to fail in this where I am. So I think for me, imposter syndrome used to be a negative thing, whereas I'm viewing it as a positive thing. It's actually just telling me, well done, you are freaking amazing for doing something that you are scared of, because no one wants to do things they're scared of. I hope that helps.
Definitely, there's not much to add to that from my point of view, but imposter syndrome is a good thing, 100%. I choose to see everything as a good thing. Everything is a good thing if you just choose to look at it that way, because we tend to put our negative lenses on, but we also have a positive lens that we can choose. Like, life is a double-sided coin, and I made a post about this on my Instagram, and you can, some of you want to check it out, you're welcome to. It's like, I think like 2 or 3 videos down. But it basically spoke about how life and everything that happens to you is a double-sided coin. If you turn the coin one way, you can choose a negative lens. If you turn it the other way, it's a positive lens. The reality is that if you have imposter syndrome, you can go and feel, oh, you know what? I suck. I'm not good at what I do. And this is not for me. I should try something else. And usually it pushes people back into the comfort zone, and they either stay there or they try on something else, only to find that they bounce back again, because the other thing also created imposter syndrome. So when you look at it, like you said, and go, hey, this is a good thing, this is a challenge, it means I'm growing, and it's only going to be a matter of time when I'm absolutely confident up until I have to step outside my comfort zone again, and then most likely feel that I have imposter syndrome again. That is part of the process. And that is a beautiful way to look at it, because you're bringing all of this positive energy into your body as well. Now, again, I speak about this all the time. Everything is energy. So if you adapt that positive perspective, you bringing that positive energy into your own body, which then impacts your electromagnetic field, which then basically affects the quantum reality that we live in, which means other things are going to start happening to you that is in alignment with that positivity. That's just simple science and math. And at the end of the day, if you look at it that way, the moment you choose to have a negative lens, you're actually putting yourself back. And what's happening now is you're starting to vibrate that negative energy. You're affecting your magnetic field. You're affecting the quantum reality that we live in. And then what's happening is more events are going to start happening over the next day or two that is going to justify that negative feeling that you have. And this is what a lot of people call, commercializes the law of attraction, but that's not a nice way to look at it. It is actually just science, and it's the law of vibration. And even, some of the most spiritual people spoke about that, from the Buddha to Jesus, who was alive and who spoke about all of these things. And we just miss it all the time. We don't focus on it. So the reality is, your lens and how you look at the challenges that you face is the most crucial thing when it comes to overcoming those hurdles, and to turn those problems into your biggest power and leverage.
Absolutely. So whenever I get imposter syndrome, I look back at all the previous times I've had imposter syndrome and overcame that, because like you say, it expands your comfort zone. Then I get so proud of myself, because then I would remember, oh, I got so much imposter syndrome, 2 years ago when I had to do this thing. And now it doesn't scare me because you did it anyway. So we're not supposed to, it's not supposed to feel comfortable. You must do it scared. You just do it anyway. And then you grow out of it. It's amazing, guys. But yeah, this is the end. Jandre, it was lovely. For those of you who are watching, we have a social media masterclass. So just let me know if you don't have the link and you want to join that later tonight. And as always, Jandre, lovely to chat to you. I got a lot of insights, and I'm really I think, going to implement a lot of things. So that's important, guys. There's no point in just listening and not implementing. So I am going to implement. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Much love. Thanks for all the questions. And yeah, we're here weekly every Thursday. So hopefully we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.